What's up, guys? Rick Denham here, Holy Moly Outdoors. Thank you so much for joining us today for another Tank Test Thursday. We're diving back into the roots that I grew up doing, fly fishing. And what a better way as we go into Labor Day weekend to talk about is off the beach for coho salmon. So you don't want to miss on this one because there's a lot of great information to help you get some silver salmon on your barbecue. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so like I said, we are going to be going over beach fishing for coho, and today we are going to be talking about that with the fly rod. This is going back to my roots, what I grew up doing and started me out on fishing. This is one of my most favorite things to do, and really every time we get around this time of the fall, I am so excited when I start hearing the first couple reports of fish showing up off the beach. It is really easy for a bank angler to get out there in Puget Sound and have a shot at catching one of these really nice and especially good eating fish. So whether you're a South End guy, Tacoma, Gig Harbor, or you're a North End guy, Whidbey Island, Everett, Linwood, you guys all have opportunities to get fish from the beach. So today we're going to cover the types of flies, both surface and subsurface, that'll be effective for you to be able to get a nice fish on your barbecue. We're also going to go over a really easy way to set up for these fish with the gear selection. I'm going to go over my basic setup with rod and reel, and then we'll go from that right into the test tank footage. So, alrighty. Taking a look specifically at rods and reels, there are so many different types of fly rods out there, as you guys know. And for me, I keep it simple. I have a specific beach rod. It's a 6-weight, 4-piece, and really does well for this type of situations. Now, I could bump it up to a 7 or 8 weight as we get more of these bigger ocean fish in, but I like a little bit of play and having fun when I am getting these fish, because at the same time, you're fishing areas where you may have sea run cutthroat. And so an opportunity with a 6-weight does have enough power to land a coho, but we definitely want to make sure that the 6-weight is the lowest that you go. So I start with the 6-weight. If I need to bring out the 7-weight, I can definitely do that. As far as reel selection goes, there are a ton of great reel manufacturers out there. I personally love my Ross Evolution reel, and I have this spooled up with 6-weight. This is a weight forward fly line from Rio, and I really enjoy that one because it allows me then to add, in this case, a sink tip section that's intermediate. So as I'm looking around on the beach, I'm either going to be searching with the surface pattern on busting bait fish, or I'm going to be fishing subsurface, and that could be with a weighted fly or an unweighted fly. But I want to have something, or the versatility ability with one reel to be able to fish multiple scenarios. So it's a lot easier to carry one rod than carry 4 or 5, and I'm guilty as any to carry more than needed. So keeping it simple with one rod and a reel that'll do it all will make you more successful. So as we start diving then into the flies themselves, I mentioned surface and subsurface. Now, surface fishing for coho, there is nothing like it. I mean, you guys have seen bass blow-ups where they come flying out of the water. Well, it is something on another level when you can see a 10 to 12 pound coho coming up on your fly, waking on behind it like a shark fin, and just absolutely slamming it, and then the coho just goes nuts. That is so much fun to do. So what you can, as far as flies go wise, you can go a couple routes on the surface. You can do something that is more of a wake type fly, where it's just breaking the surface and it has more of a round, almost cone-shaped head, and all that is doing is just on the surface looking like a bait fish that is injured. It's on the surface by itself. It's a very effective fly. This one, in fact, is the Moly popper, very popular out there. You can also go to something more of like a traditional bass popper style that has kind of that cupped face bait fish imitation, and this one happens to be a custom one I did to imitate herring. So if I see a lot of busting bait, this one brings a little bit more noise and drawing power because of that cupped action. So you can see here it does disperse quite a bit of water. Or you can make something even more of a bait fish style, slender. This one would be kind of a cross between the two. It'll disturb the surface and wake, but it has a little bit of a cup face, so it can disperse a little water, but a very good small herring imitation. Because right now, really, in Puget Sound, you have a couple different options for bait. You have herring that these fish are on. You could have candlefish, you could have sand lance, and even small bait fish or other things they find to be opportunistic around. So if you're going on the subsurface realm, you want to either have an attractor pattern or something that matches the hatch. And so one of the most popular attractor patterns out there for saltwater fish is the clouser minnow. You can catch just about every species that swims on the clouser minnow. And frankly, the green and white happens to be my favorite for coho in color, but it's very easy, has a lot of flash in it, something that's weighted so you can really get a jigging motion as you strip it through the water column and really can draw in strikes. You can go something if the fish are more finicky or you're not sure what they're feeding on, you can drop to something more like a shrimp imitation like this Crazy Charlie here, and that would be something to put on an intermediate head line and really fish this slower, more methodical. That clouser minnow is a cover water type deal. Now if you know exactly the bait fish that are around you, you can match that hatch. Something like an epoxy minnow here really looks like your herring forage. You can do something that's more specific or bigger profile to that herring or candlefish with something like that. So you guys have a lot of different options, and really keeping it simple of, am I going to fish the surface, and if so, I'm looking for those fish. If I'm fishing subsurface, I'm either matching the hatch or I'm fishing a tractor pattern and I'm covering water as fast and as much as I can. Coho do like a quick speed most of the time because you're getting a reaction out of those fish, but you can vary that retrieve and be successful. So as we now dive into the next piece, we'll start to look at the test tank footage, but you guys really, you can have tons and tons of flies, you can have tons and tons of options, but keeping it simple on the beach will bring you more fish. So let's take a look at the test tank and have some fun here seeing how cool these flies look in the water. And one thing to note here, guys, as we tie all of our flies for these types of fishing off the beach, really you want to be using a knot called a non-slip loop. This allows you to fish a fly with a small tiny loop in front of it that will actually give your fly more natural action with the current, with the tide, with whatever is going on your retrieve pattern, and you won't have almost a natural dead looking fly. It'll be something that totally moves with you. So the non-slip loop is something you can find. I want to do a video of it at some point here. It's all over the internet, very productive, very effective, but I just want to make mention that's what we're tying all these on, so it gives it a real fair look at what it looks like in the water. Alright guys, so here we are with that slider popper on the surface of the water. It really is just head up, allows you to disperse some water, but it's something that's a little more subtle. Fish can see them from underneath the water, as you guys can see here. Makes a really great bait fish profile. Super effective. All tied on the loop knot, so you get extra motion out of it, but a very effective coho fly. Alright guys, so the next one we got for topwater is the popper style with that cupped face. This guy sits perfectly in the water. and as you actually pop it, it's going to give you a nice little commotion sound, make it sound like you have another fish hitting bait fish. Profile sits really nice, and again, tie on a loop knot, very effective. Okay, and our last topwater is the realistic bait fish here, and this one is really going to look natural in the water to imitate your tiny herring salmon smolt. As you can see there, it does float, so it'll sit on the surface, but also will stay right in that top of the water column and work well as you strip it through to imitate these bait fish getting bit. So I'm really excited to try this one out. I can see it being very, very productive. Okay, so now we have our Clouser minnow. You can see here it's weighted, but as you're stripping it in, it's going to get this nice undulating motion, really to draw fish strikes in. Super duper effective. You can match the hatch with the colors. You can go something bright like what you see here. Really, really effective. Tie on the loop knot again. Gives it an extra action as you retrieve it through the water. And here's your Crazy Charlie shrimp imitation. Not as heavy as the Clouser minnow, but it really fishes nicely with all those rubber legs. That loop knot really looks good in the water. And here's our epoxy minnow in the test tank, showcasing you guys a real look at a match the hatch type imitation. Alright, and lastly we got our herring imitation. Really looks good in the water. You can see that loop knot there. All those crystal flash. Really moves well. Alright guys, so there you have it. A couple simple beach flies to make you effective as a coho fisherman from the shore. So thank you so much for watching this, guys. I really cannot wait to get out there myself. It is on my list for this season to check off, is get some really nice coho on the fly rod from the salty beach. One thing, guys, that I want to make mention, you want to have with you in that equipment realm is a stripping basket. You want to make sure you have something. You can build your own. I'll have a video coming on that soon. Or you can go ahead and purchase one from the store. But having a stripping basket will make your life easier, and you'll have a better chance at catching fish because you won't have to deal with all the line at your feet. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much. Give us a like. Subscribe below. There's a little bell icon. Go ahead and click on that. That way you get notified every Test Tank Thursday or our Tip Tuesday. You guys are so great. Cannot thank you enough. And we'll catch you on the water. Take care and fish on.